My name is George Falconer, and this is Peniel. I thought that I would read a short passage from the Old Testament, and this is about the death of Jezebel. Then Jehu went to Jezreel. When Jezebel heard about it, she painted her eyes, arranged her hair, and looked out of a window. As Jehu entered the gate, she asked, "Have you come in peace, Zimmon, you murderer of your master?" He looked up at the window and called out, "Who is on my side? Who?" 2 or 3 eunuchs looked down at him. "Throw her down," Jehu said. So they threw her down, and some of her blood splattered the wall and the horses as they trampled her underfoot. Jehu went in and ate and drank. "Take care of that cursed woman," he said, "and bury her, for she was a king's daughter." But when they went out to bury her, they found nothing except her skull, her feet, and her hands. They went back and told Jehu, who said, "This is the word of the Lord that he spoke through his servant Elijah the Tishbite on the plot of ground at Jezreel. Dogs will devour Jezebel's flesh. Jezebel's body will be like refuge on the ground in the plot at Jezreel, so that no one will be able to say, 'This is Jezebel.'" You will recall that it was prophesied that she and Ahab would have their bodies eaten by dogs and their blood drunk by dogs. But Ahab, on one of the very few occasions where he repented, put on sackcloth and went about mourning, and God then said, "See how he has repented, tell him that that won't happen to him." But the rest of what God imposed upon him, which was his family being removed from the royal line, that would happen after his lifetime. So there was still a punishment, but it came after Ahab's lifetime. But his wife was foolish. She didn't repent. And all these leaders that they used for conquering and fighting against God, which is effectively what they were doing, God raised them up, and this man Jehu was leading them, and he had put many of the leaders to death. And lo and behold, he chooses to go to Jezreel. That's not coincidence. God had foretold that this is where Jezebel would die. And so this man goes to Jezreel, and this woman paints her face and does her hair. She's got to look good when she's going to have a confrontation, and shouts down to him, "Have you come in peace, you killer of your master?" Probably thinking about her own life, asking the question, "Have you come in peace? Am I going to die?" And he looks up and sees her, and sees this wicked woman, who probably remembers all the wicked things that she's done, I'm guessing at that, and says, "Who is on my side?" And 2 or 3 eunuchs look down to indicate they were on his side. Now that's a question that confronts all of us. Whose side are you on? Who is on the Lord's side, is the hymn. Who will serve the King? Do we serve the King? Are you on the Lord's side? If not, you need to think about that and be on the Lord's side. These eunuchs probably had seen it all and realised she was a wicked woman, but had to do whatever she said as long as they were under her power. But now they saw the opportunity to be under the power of this man instead, and obey him, and would be rid of the old regime. And he commanded them, when they looked down, "Throw her down." So they did. They seized her and threw her to the ground. She was probably terrified. and realised far too late that this was going to happen to her. So Jehu takes a break. He goes in and eats and drinks. Then he says, she was a king's daughter, bury her, meaning give her some sort of honour with a decent burial. But when they went out, very little of her body was there because it had been eaten by dogs, and the blood lapped up by dogs. Dogs were a bit like rats in those days. They weren't the cute little pets that we keep. It was a disgrace to have your body lapped and eaten by dogs. And to this very day we can read this and read about her disgrace, and it stands as a warning to us. Don't fight against God, because God is just, He is holy, and will carry out His will. If you think you're in charge, I have news for you. You aren't. God is. And even when things seem to be going wrong, God already knows all about it. And all things work for good to those who love the Lord. Always remember that. When things don't seem to be going your way, if you love the Lord, it's all working for your good. So, he was told, and this is a reminder to him, this is a fulfillment of the prophecy that came from Elijah. It happened. And so, we should learn from it. We should humble ourselves before the Lord and obey Him. And that way we enjoy His blessings, His guidance, His protection, His love, even when things seem to be going wrong. They never are actually going wrong. Ultimately, God will have the last word in that last day. And I will leave you with that thought.